Welcome back. So in this video, we will be displaying a multiplication table. It's going to start from 1 all the way up to 12, but we are going to automate that whole process using nested loops, right? So just use nested loops to automate that whole process, because the number one rule that you need to keep in mind is that as programmers, we work extremely hard to be extremely lazy, right? So let's just start by programming our thing. So let's just declare an integer num, or let's just say integer, I don't know, value. It really doesn't matter how you store it or what value you give it. Integer value, and so we're gonna have for integer I is equals to 1, right? I is less than or equals to 12. I plus plus, right? And so then you come down here when you say for integer j is equals to 1, j less than or equals to 12, and then j plus plus, right? And then now we are obviously going to say value is equals to I multiplied by j, and we are now going to see out, right? We are going to see that out. Now let's do that. Going to see that out, and then we're going to come down here below, excuse me, and we're then going to basically do that, right? Okay, so let me explain what's happening here really quickly. So we declared an integer value. So we created a for loop, right? The for loop, the first for loop, it goes all the way up to 12. Second for loop goes all the way up to 12, right? So value is equals to I multiplied by j, right? So at the first loop, I is equals to 1. So 1 multiplied by, let's just make that into 1. So 1 multiplied by 1. Okay, you need to keep this in mind, right? Please keep this in mind, because this is very important, right? Very important. So if you basically want to multiply to get a multiplication table, I'm trying to get the logic. I'm trying to get you guys to understand the logic behind this, right? If you're trying to get a multiplication table, right, you want to get, sorry, not this, not 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and then 10, right? So you're trying to get that, and you're trying to multiply that by 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and then 10. And then what then actually ends up happening, let me just create some spaces to make my thing look presentable. Alright, let's just create a space there, just create a space there, and then a space there. So what you would then want to do is to say the first position, because think of this as something that looks like an array. So you want to say at the first position, I want 1 to multiply by 1, and that will obviously give me what? 1. But now what I want you to say 2 multiplied by 1. So 2 multiplied by 1 is going to give me 2. But then I also want you to say 2 multiplied by 2. What is it going to give me? It's going to give me 4, right? And then I also want you to say 2 multiplied by 3. And what's that going to give me? It's going to give me 6. So you're then going to write down 6. So you're going to continue doing that, right? Running down this entire thing. So what's now happening here is that we are now having to have 2 different sets of loops that run to the same values. It runs from 1 all the way up to 10, but we're now having to multiply these 2 loops with each other to then give us a multiplication table. We are now having to say, what is 1 times 2? It's equals to 2. What is 2 times 2? It's equals to 4. What is 3 times 2? It's equals to 6. What is 4 times 2? excuse me, it's equals to 8. What is 5 times 2? It's equals to 10. What is 6 times 2? So we are having to do that whole process, but really what we're actually doing, in essence is we are just simply multiplying two loops together, because we have a loop that starts from 1, goes all the way up to 10. We have another loop that starts from 1 going all the way up to 10. But in our example, we are going all the way down to 12. So let's just do that. So this is how the whole thing is going to firstly look like. We are going to have this this L shape, right? And then we're then going to be multiplying our values diagonally in that way to then fill up the entire multiplication table. So if we go down here, it's, that's just how the whole thing is structured. So let's just try to run that. Okay. Hopefully we've saved it in the correct place. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I said values equals. Oh, sorry, my bad. I forgot. Sorry, I forgot to do the value. I don't know why I always forget to do that. Yeah, so this is what we have. We have 1, da 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 da. We have 1 going all the way down to 12. Now we're saying what is, because when it loops for the second time, it's at 2, right? So when it's looping for the second time, it's at 2. So 2 multiplied by 2 is 4, right? But then now it's also looping for the third time. So 3 multiplied by 3 is equals to 6. But it keeps on going, like that over and over again. So that is what I wanted you guys to see, right? So I tried to, give you guys some form of an illustration on the notepad, here, but that's how the whole thing basically works. So that's how the whole thing looks like when you are using nested loops to try and, create a multiplication table.